Whenever you're ready. All right. I think we're good to go. So we'll go ahead and get started. Georgia Tech head coach Geoff Collins, following the win over Duke on October 9th and our bye week this past week. So, Coach, if you could open us up with some remarks before we take questions.
Yeah, that feels like a long time ago. Still proud of our guys, how they handled it. Played the game one play at a time, just kept battling till the end, and got a win on the road in a place that's not an easy place to get wins at, and just really proud of them. For the effort, Ace Ely was ACC Linebacker of the Week, which is awesome, and I think 3 of the top 10 tacklers in the league come from our linebacker corps. So just the growth and development in that room. I've talked a ton about Ace's leadership ability, playmaking ability as well, and I think Jaquez Jackson, Charlie Thomas are both playing at a really high level. Really proud of that room. Trinelius Tatum is going to be a star in this league for years to come, and he's learning how to do it the right way from Ace. And then you've got Demetrius Knight, who plays on all 4 special teams for us, and then Caleb Edwards is starting to get more and more burn at our joker position and being an elite special teams player for us as well. Wanye Thomas was ACC Defensive Back of the Week, 11 tackles, had the game winning interception, and was really proud of him. Immediately, it was 2 minutes into the game, just like we practiced, gets the pick, immediately goes down, brings the ball over, celebrates with his teammates. So just really proud of him. The secondary in that game was really had a ton of injuries in that group, and they just kept stepping up and battling and fighting whoever was in the game, communicating at a high level, and just rolling through. Players of the week internally, Donnaca Sanders obviously had the game-winning touchdown catch, but just who he is in this program as a leader, as a worker, how hard he plays, the guy he is in our locker room every single day. Jamin Brooks, defensive tackle, played a really good game, and then I've already talked about Caleb Edwards. First game as a starter on punt team, and has done a tremendous job with all the different things that we do. With David Shanahan being able to do 4 different types of kicks for us, and Caleb handling that. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this person. We made a huge deal about his efforts throughout the game, throughout the week, was P.J. Harris. We had 2 picks, and P.J. Harris was the one that made the tackle on both of those interceptions, one of which probably would have been a pick 6, but P.J. just fought and battled and found a way to clip the kid's heels. He steps out of bounds. They come up with 0 points because of PJ. So just who he is in special teams, what role he plays on offense, just really love him and all that he does for our program. Developmentally, James Blackstray and Jamal Camp, Dalen Gordon, offense, and then defense, Jason Moore, Jaquan Griffin, Cole Newber, and Jalen Huff did a really nice job for us. Bye week couldn't have come at a better time. Try to get a bunch of guys back from injury. The offensive line had a ton of injuries. The secondary, which I've already mentioned, had a ton of injuries. And hopefully throughout the bye week and even this week, get some guys back that were limited against Duke. And Dylan Devaney, I don't really talk about injuries unless there's a season-ending injury. So Dylan Devaney had season-ending surgery, and he'll work. He's in good spirits, so everybody just keep him in your prayers. Great player in our program, has been battling some stuff, and just wanted to go ahead and just go ahead and have the surgery and get him ready to come back next year at a high level. With that, Mike, anything else, bud? You good?
All right, good. We'll go ahead and open it right up for questions. So if you could, please raise your hand so we can get you a microphone. We'll go ahead and start here with Kevin.
Obviously, bye weeks are a lot about self-scout and kind of what did you see from your team when you started to break down looking at yourselves?
Yeah, our GAs and analysts and QCs did a really good job from the time we landed back in Atlanta late Saturday night all the way until Tuesday morning, they were just pouring over the data, and then we spent 2 really good days, offense, defense, special teams, pouring over every bit of data, things that we're doing really good, things that we need to improve on, all of those things, and then put that into a plan to take a next step for the second half of the season. Got a lot of young guys reps out here Tuesday and Wednesday. And then obviously with how much respect we have for Virginia, went ahead and got an early couple of days on them toward the end of the week. Obviously one of the top offenses in the country, and they're spinning it all around. They've got really good players. Offensively, the quarterback does a great job, and they're long, they're physical, they play really, really hard. Defensively, they're multiple. They just pitched their first shutout of the season. You can just see them throughout the year just getting better and better and better. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us. So we got to do everything that we can to get ready to play at a high level, primetime ACC Network Saturday night.
Rod, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on Armstrong and all the challenges he presents to your defense?
He's good, man. They do a lot of things. There's a lot of window dressing, a lot of motions, a lot of shifts, a lot of unique formations that you don't see. So we've just been really diving into trying to figure out any tells that we can get. But really good players running a complex scheme. He has great touch on the ball, great accuracy, but he throws the deep ball really well too. So it's a huge challenge for us. And I think the last 4 weeks, this one included, 4 of the top offenses in the country we've got to face. So that's just life in this league. We understand that, and our guys got to get ready to play. And they're averaging a lot of plays a game. So our ATL philosophy has to be in play, rolling a bunch of guys in, and they've got to play at a high level when they get in.
Ken?
You mentioned the offensive line and being a little thin there right now.
Yep.
How do you feel about the guys behind them and their readiness to come in and play?
And I've talked to a couple of them today that really haven't seen a lot of action in games. And just the conversation was at this time last year, I don't know if we would have been ready, if they would have been ready for this moment. But I've got a lot of confidence in how they've matured, how they've developed at a high level. And, they just got to be ready to go. And, whatever kind of matchup that we have up front, I know Coach Key will do a good job. We preach and practice position flexibility, so that'll be in play just like it is every single week. But I really love that group, their mentality, their attitude, the way they play the game, the way they have a process that's the right process. So if guys have to step up and play, then we expect them to play at a high level.
Anthony?
Of course, you mentioned Donnaca Sanders, a guy that's been with you since she first been here.
Yep.
How would you just describe his progression and just during his time here? Because obviously he's been waiting.
Yeah, he's awesome. If you guys have gotten to know Donnaca's, he's never had a bad day. I mean, he's just a great young man, great attitude. Just what he does for this program day in and day out, the positive vibes that he brings. He works ridiculously hard. Every day I get the catapult numbers from Coach Horton, and it's the top 3 might change a little bit, but Donnaca's is in there every day. Just his work ethic, his attitude. He is an unbelievable teammate, unbelievable leader, and just really proud of him and how he's developed and grown. Plays all across our offense and on special teams too. So he's awesome.
Patrick?
Coach, you're sitting pretty good at 3-3. You come in against Virginia, and obviously it's a little bit not unusual to have a common opponent with next week's opponent, but it just so happens this time you both have beaten the last team you played was the same team. You guys in a very dramatic last-second fashion. They with a thorough domination. How do you frame that to your players as the grand opportunity that it really is?
We just take it one game at a time. If you look in this league historically, in the Coastal Division historically, every week has a life of its own. And so we just have to go in there, prepare to play our absolute best. When we play our absolute best, we're really good. Obviously, when they play their best, they're really good. So you got to expect both teams to play at a high level, and the critical situations, the turnovers, the field position, all of those things, converting in the red zone, all of those things are going to be factors. But we've just got to go up there, get ourselves ready to play at a high level because we know that they will. Really good team, really good program. We've got a tremendous amount of respect for them, but we've got to go up there and play at a really high level. And to do that, you have to prepare at a high level.
Kelly?
Geoff, you have 37 freshmen that could redshirt at the start of the year. Could have redshirted. I think you've burned 13 or so, and I think you have maybe 2 more that will. Kind of where are you at in terms of those numbers, figuring out how to balance that going forward?
And we have conversations with the guys. The guys want to play, but we make sure we have conversations with them where we are at, where they are within the program, playing time, and all those kind of things, where they're at with everything in this program. Our coaches do a really good job of communicating, but they're young guys. They want to get on the field. They want to contribute, and we've got a lot of really young players. I'm seeing here with Mike is we're still one of the youngest rosters in the country, and but with the youth, there are really good players that have really taken on some leadership roles and some key roles in this program, and I'm just really proud of them.
Rod?
Naturally, everyone talked about the final offensive drive with the Sanders touchdown, but prior to that, the defensive stop. What went into your thinking as far as time management to give the offense enough time to get things going?
Yeah, so there was a couple of situations that came into the entire game, and I've talked to Ken about the book and Pat Boyle and our communication the entire game, and even one of the second to the last drive that our offense had. We were 3rd and 8 on the minus whatever it was, 24 or whatever, and we were in a situation that we were planning on going for it. Unfortunately, took a sack that made it unrealistic, so we punted. Didn't get great field position, but our guys managed the clock. They managed our 4-minute situation. They had a penalty, which helped us with saving a timeout. So those things came into play. Our guys handled the 4-minute situation really well defensively. Our offense obviously handled the 2-minute drill at a really high level. Then we had to come back and play a 2-minute drill defensively. And the things that we practiced, one of the coolest comments. So every Friday we do a kick script. And during the kick script, you go over every situation, as many situations as you can, and it'll change each week to week. We'll throw in some different situations to work on in practice. And we're walking back that 3.5-minute walk from the game field to the Duke locker room, and I heard a bunch of guys saying, that was just like the kick script. That's just what happened on Friday in the kick script. And that's pretty cool as a coach when your process and what you do and how you prepare the guys shows up in a game that you win, and then they recognize and appreciate the preparation and the level of detail that we go through to get them ready. But they're the ones that have to go do it, and they did it. So really proud of them.
Okay.
I'm curious, as you looked at the self-scout with the run game in particular, was there something things that you saw that we can do this better to help get your guys going?
Yeah, so there'll be some wrinkles there too. But the other piece of it is we've done so many RPOs and force protectors and things like that because, to be honest, a lot of teams are just loading up the box on us. And so the force protectors, the RPOs, those things that come across on the stat sheet as passes, a lot of those are just complements in addition to our run game. A lot of faith in our run game. Just continue to work to get better. And you have to have the complementary pieces. That are the bubbles, that are the smokes, that are the slants, the glances, the rollovers, and those kind of things. So those are extensions of the run game as well.
Patrick, we'll wrap up with Kelly.
Coach, back to that last drive against Duke, it really stood out. Jeff Sims rallied his troops, obviously moving all the way down the field, no timeouts, minimal time. After a couple of possessions right prior to that were not quite as successful, he just was cool, calm, and collected.
Yep.
Is that just him?
I think
is that just part of him?
And then he gets in the zone too, and when he's in the zone, he's as good as anybody in college football. He's a big-time player. I'm so proud that he's one of our players. His attitude, his demeanor, those kind of things are at a really, really high level. He knew the situation going into the last drive. One of the big plays that I don't think people talk about enough is the crossing route to Kyrick McGowan. Was a big explosive play for us, but just the experience and the big-time championship DNA that Kyrick McGowan has to make sure he gets out of bounds and gives us a chance. But Geoff is a big-time player for us and a big-time player in this league, and just continues to get better and better every single week.
Kelly, want to wrap us up?
Georgia Tech historically, Scott Stadium's been kind of a nightmare place for Tech. I think you guys have won twice in 30 years. Just kind of what is peculiar about that place? I know you've been there several times with the program in various capacities. What's interesting or peculiar about playing Virginia up there?
I think the same thing could be said about playing up in Durham as well. And we just look at it one game at a time. Great stadium, great program, great fan base that we're going into. Primetime ACC Network, 7:30 at night. It's going to be a big-time environment. We just got to bring our best game. Every single game has a life of its own, so we can't worry about historical data and those kind of things. We just have to find a way to get ready to play at a high level, have a tremendous amount of respect for what they do offensively, defensively, and special teams, have a tremendous amount of respect for the environment that we're going into, find a way to play together, play at a high level, play one play at a time. And that's been our recipe for success, but you have to go out and earn it every single week in this league, in this division.